Did you know that there is a course called Women Who Lead where you get to spend hours with me learning how to make every interaction safe, logical, fun, and memorable? Doesn't that sound like a great way to spend some time? It will put tools in your tool belt that will change your trajectory. Give it a shot. Go to www.aimwithus.com and click on courses. I can't wait to see you there.
Welcome to Productive Joy with Dr. Christie, where fun meets action.
Hi, friends. Welcome to Productive Joy, the recap. It has been such a fun week. Oh, my goodness. Okay, so I clearly took a field trip. I am in a hotel in Tallahassee, Florida, for those of you that are not from this area. And I am kind of walking a little higher today because I just love God's timing. His timing is perfect. And I believe that with my whole being. And I know that things line up the way they're supposed to line up when they're supposed to line up a certain way. So, although this is airing in May, recently in January, my husband and I spent some time in a retreat for AIM. AIM is our company. It stands for Analyze, Improve, Move. But what we realized is that really there's an umbrella over that, and that's the Intentionality Group. And the Intentionality Group's purpose is to help people find their purpose, find what their unique genius is, and then capitalize on it. And do some things that are specifically going to make them be able to find their why, their unique genius, their ability to do great things. And then use that to launch their business, to create their brand, to figure out who they are. And so Jason and I are working on this together. And then today I had the opportunity to interview Ernesto Mandowsky, who started the $1 Million Machine. He's got a great story. He has also written, he's written 2 books. Newbie was the first one. The second one is Momentum Multipliers. And that's the one that I'm going to camp out on for a second. So he is by trade a systems engineer, an industrial and systems engineer, which is very cool. That happens to be something that I have a friend who has also gotten his degree in that as well. And basically they see things in systems. They look at the big picture and they say, how do we turn this into something that's repeatable, right? Because that's the definition of a system. So Ernesto came up with 5 recipes for creating this momentum multiplier. He says, first you have transformation, then connection, then communication, then organization, then actualization. And what I loved about his system is that it was simple, right? Now, simple doesn't always mean easy. And we even said that in our podcast together. But it is important that we recognize that simplicity is what makes things repeatable. When it gets too complicated and you don't know which direction to go, people get overwhelmed and they shut down and they're like, yeah, no, I can't. I can't keep doing what you're telling me to do. I can't keep living in that space. That's too much. And so I want to challenge you today to really think about what you're overcomplicating, right? So our simplicity is what allows things to be not just repeatable, but doable. And yet, if we're overcomplicating things, we are unnecessarily creating a space where people struggle. Why? Why would you want to do that? And I mean, I'm not saying that you are intentionally doing that or that you meant to, because chances are good you didn't. But here you are, right? Overcomplicating things and making things more difficult than they need to be. So I'm hopeful that you will stop doing that today, this day, and that you will go read Momentum Multipliers and that you will get super excited about the idea of simplicity for your systems to make really great things happen. Great guest. He was phenomenal. I also had another great guest this week, Dr. Rhonda Parker Taylor. And she has written a book called Crossroads. And what I love about her story is that she wrote a suspense thriller, but she wrote it around some mental health things and then uses it as a case study to teach her students in Business 101 how to work within the confines of people's needs and make really awesome things happen. Like, that's pretty cool, right? Because I think sometimes we think fiction and nonfiction don't ever come together. And I don't know if you've ever read a self-help book, but in most self-help books, you struggle through it because you're like, oh my gosh, this is so heavy. And I'm not sure how to make it all make sense. But we love a good thriller. So she's taken this really great thriller and she's turned it into a case study for different personalities and different ways people show up in the space and that space being work or life or whatever. And so in both of these instances, these humans have figured out productive joy, in my opinion, right? So what I mean is that they have found a way for something they love to be also productive. And I want to challenge you with that today. I know it's doable because I'm living it. I'm living it in who I am and who I get to be and what I'm choosing to do. And yet you can too, right? I think sometimes we think that we have to turn our passion into our career or we can't be happy. I don't believe that to be true. I do think that when the two meet, something magical happens. But I just want to challenge you today to recognize that you were built for more. And you do have this beautiful, unique genius. My dear friend Amy Kemp has taught me that for sure, that we all have this unique genius and we all have this way of showing up that is really easy for us, but it's not really easy for everyone. And we don't realize that that's a superpower. And we just kind of dismiss it as, well, yeah, I just know how to do that. Yeah, you know how to do that. Nobody else does. And you were made to do that for others. So I know that most of my listeners are people who are choosing to look for ways to create productive joy. And hopefully you've been listening for a while or you're just getting started and you just found us. Yay. I hope you'll go back and listen to some of the other episodes because that's what we're doing together is that we are finding people's unique genius and we're giving them a platform to share that unique genius. And then we're turning some of those talents into productivity and therefore joy. And no, joy isn't always positive, right? Joy is a choice though. And joy is something that I am choosing to find in everything that I do because I don't want to wake up one day and go, well, I hated everything about that. Why did I do it for so long? I want to wake up and go, oh my gosh, yes, that's the thing. That's the thing that brings me joy. I am going to tell a ridiculous story because it just seems relevant at this point. So when I was getting my doctorate, I had a professor who I would not use the word joy to describe her. She was very unhappy in her own skin. And I was so excited to be learning. And you guys, if you're watching this and you've seen all my facial expressions, like this is just me. Like I get so excited, like, sure. And we were in class and I had an aha moment where I finally figured out what she was saying and how it related to what I was going to study. And I just got this huge grin on my face. And I was like, oh gosh, I'm so excited. And she goes, you look like an alligator. I was like, okay. She said my smile was too big and I looked like an alligator. And I'm holding on to that, not because, I mean, okay, sure, whatever. But that's like the antithesis of productive joy. She took me as a student, my excitement, my fervor for what it was that she was trying to teach me, and she squashed it. And I think we do that a lot more than we realize unnecessarily. And I'm not just talking about teacher-student relationships. It could be boss and employee. It could be friend-friend. It could be spouses. But we do that. We take somebody's genuine excitement for something and we go, right, and tell them why it's not what they thought it was or not, you're not good enough or whatever, and we squish it. I'm going to challenge you today to not squish it. To if you're that person, I mean, I'm not calling you a killjoy. Don't mishear me. But if you're the one that always goes, yeah, but, right? Or that didn't work, or I don't know. If you're that person, I'm not telling you to change your personality. We can't. But I'm telling you to look for something that would allow you to see it from the other side. Because both sides are there. And really, really good things are happening everywhere, every day. And I want you to see them. I want you to see those things. I want you to see the ability to be a momentum multiplier. I want you to get to those crossroads and say, I'm going to go this way instead of that way. And here's why. I want you to make choices to find joy because I do believe that it's there and you just have to go looking for it. So I have no idea who needed to hear all that today or even why I went in that direction with my conversation. But every time I have an opportunity to recap, I try to go with my gut. And my gut today said to recognize that joy is a choice and that we can find it and we can multiply it in our space if we choose to. So I hope you'll choose to today. I hope that you will create a little more productive joy. I hope that you will figure out some new ways to do just that. So let's pretend that you need some help with this. There are a couple different places you could go. I would recommend that you go find Ernesto, Ernesto Mandowsky on any of the platforms and get some of his systems because his systems work. I recommend that you find the Intentionality Group and AIM and figure out ways to take all of the things that you know to be true and right about yourself and turn those into your brand and who you're going to be when you grow up. I recommend that you go find Crossroads and that you find ways to learn about all of the different personalities that can show up in the workspace in a fun way. I recommend that you figure out ways to turn fun into action because I know that that's what will move the needle for you. I'm so excited to hear how it goes. So reach out, tell me, please, please tell me what it is that you're learning from all of these awesome experiences with these brilliant people. And let's truly make some change today because as always, my goal for you is that you grab some nuggets of wisdom and then that you figure out ways to turn fun into action.